Thank you, everybody. I don't have a long report because really, one, you've heard our report through the reports you've heard before that, because our work is really the culmination of the excellent work both the community and the staff do to run the organization as well as it does. So it makes my job and the board's job relatively easy. But I'll give you a kind of update what we've been up to since you last saw us in San Jose. Probably the biggest changes is that we've had a large number turnover on the board. We lost two of our esteemed board members, Tim Denton and of course Bill Woodcock, who had served this organization for many years. But if you've been on the mailing list, you've seen he's not on the board, but he's still around. But that did allow us to bring on two new excellent board members, both Nancy Carter, who has already risen to the role of treasurer, and Dan Alexander, who's been assisting us in a lot of various roles, including he's just taken over the chair of the nomination committee. So that's been our first action, bringing them on. We had one of our first formal board orientation sessions this year. We've done some informal ones, but given we had two, we actually had a day where we could bring the new board members down and get them oriented, so that's been going. Some focuses I'll point out, I guess. One on just financial. That's generally what keeps us a little bit busy between the last meeting and this meeting, mainly because we're finishing off our year end and starting up the next one. Nancy's already given you a lot of the details, but the board's been busy with the year end wrap up. We've done some work on the travel policy, and of course we set the budget for this year. What has been keeping us also quite busy is, as you probably aware, is a lot of focus on governance, and we've been trying to take a retrospective look at how we're structured over 20 years. Looking at things on how we do it, asking why we do it that way, if we're hearing the answer, because we always have, saying that's probably not good enough, and looking to see where we might be able to improve best practices. And we're trying to do that review without distracting from the mission. Sometimes it's easy for boards to get a little bit too navel-gazing, but we did think there was quite a bit of work that we should get to. We've made some interim changes to the NOMCOM, mostly improving some of the verification that we'll be looking at for candidates to give better information to you, the members. We'll be doing a more fulsome review in August on that. We've had this appointment process available to appoint a seventh or eighth member, depending on the way you want to look at it, to the board, which we've used previously, but we felt that it would be better to have a more transparent process so the community know how we would use that when we needed to use it for a more routine filling. So we appointed that, and we are in beta testing for it as we speak right now as we go through the first cycle of that. We are on the final touches of putting a formal skills requirement and request document. We found that was very lacking, even though we all had a very informal view of what it was that we thought the board should, kind of skill sets we were looking for. We thought it would be good to do that, and you should be seeing that come quite soon. Along with, we have started to work on an ARIN leadership development program for those that are looking to be involved in the organization from a leadership, trying to find a program that if you're perhaps interested but think that you need some assistance and some development, that is a program that we might offer, not just for the board, but some of the other councils and bodies as well, and that's in the earlier stages. And other items, conflict of interest we're looking at. We've looked at some professional development that we can do for the board, and of course we are looking at the board structure, which has resulted in the consultation that's in front of you. On some more administration stuff, we've retired our governance committee and the services working group. After review, we just did not think those groups still made sense after that time, but they did provide us great input in previous, but just going forward. We've adjusted the wildly popular fellowship program, we think, to improve that. Mainly, we've just looked at, because we've now allowed for people to do return visits, we've just done a bit of tweaking on how that would work, and also the numbers of fellows that can be appointed. We made some, we think, enhancements to the ASCP, and also touched the meeting standards of participations for these meetings. That's the main gust. We'll, from now till when you see us next time, will be August. We will be having our annual strategy session where we're going to look at all aspects again, specifically just how do we take ARIN into the next 20 years, and what does that look like, working with the staff who will be bringing forward many proposals on issues that the board would like to look at from that kind of standpoint. And of course, we always look for any community input. And that's really all I have, other than just to take a second to say that this meeting and organization would not be possible without the great staff, and I just think it would be wonderful if you could all take a moment to thank all the staff present here and back in the office for all the work that makes this meeting and our job so seamless. So let's just give them a round of applause.